Welcome back to the 10X is Easier Than 2X YouTube series. I'm Dr. Benjamin Hardy. I'm an organizational psychologist and best-selling author of multiple books. In this episode, I want to talk to you about the importance of excitement. And excitement hits with the idea of wanting what you want. Wanting what you want is in chapter 3 of 10X is Easier Than 2X. Dan Sullivan talks about the importance of going for what you want versus doing what you think you need. And I equate that as a psychologist to intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic motivation is doing what is most exciting to you, what you most want. It's the game that you would want to play if you trusted yourself. Self-trust is obviously a huge component of going 10X, of connecting with your future self, of ultimately becoming a leader. And there's going to be lots of episodes on this about leadership. I did my PhD on transformational leadership theory, and obviously a big aspect of leadership, self-leadership, but also leadership of others, is trust. Trusting yourself and choosing freedom over security is how you're going to transform yourself, but also helping others trust themselves, helping others, trusting you because you deserve that trust through having integrity to yourself. But what I want to talk about today, this whole video right here, is just about the importance of excitement. So I ask you, first off, if you're looking at your own life, if you're looking at your own goals and your future self, how excited are you? Having a 2X vision is not exciting. Going for ultimately more of what you already have is not exciting to you, and it's not exciting to your team. Excitement, and I think that Tim Ferriss even talks about this, rather than going for happiness, he goes for excitement. And excitement is a very important concept. You want your future self to be not only personally meaningful to you, your future self, who you want to be, should be values-based. And so it's based on what you most value, no more than 3 priorities, as Jim Collins would say. So you want to take that, but then you want to make it really exciting. And you can make it really exciting in 2 ways. You make it enormously bigger and more meaningful, but also you bring it closer and make it much closer. So that would apply like, I think, Parkinson's law, that work fills the space. And so part of the excitement and the forcing function is honestly making it really aggressive short-term. Making your goals higher strips away the 80% from the 80-20 perspective being all the things that wouldn't work for the 10X goal. So making your goals higher makes them simpler. Making your goals closer makes them a lot simpler. And when you combine those 2 things, when you have really high goals and you give yourself aggressive deadlines, then that really strips away all the junk that you're doing that doesn't matter. Having a 10X future self is an honesty filter. It's honest about what you most want, which is the intrinsic motivation, which is your inner game, which has nothing to do with anyone else. No one else has competition with your future self. It's who you want to be. It's your standard. It's your life. No one else has your future self. And so you get to the point where it really is not about anyone else. It's not about proving yourself. It's about you being true to yourself, trusting your future self, and being honest with your future self, but also bringing the deadline close. So having a high, really inspiring, exciting future self, but also making it close creates this level of urgency where you have to strip away a lot of the things that are in the way now. So excitement is what's really important. And I ask you, if you're looking at your vision of your future self, and also if you're looking at even your goals for the rest of 2023, how excited are you? But often when we spend time thinking about our goals or thinking about our future self, we get excitement. But the question is, how do you maintain that excitement? And so that's what I want to talk to you about today is not only having radical excitement and a sense of purpose and meaning and mission towards what you're doing, but to honestly use that excitement on a daily basis and to trigger that excitement on a daily basis as fuel for the process. Because the goal shapes the process, but the quality of the process and the energy, the emotion, the excitement of that process is going to determine how effective that process is, how successful you are in that process. While you're in the process, meaning you're learning the lessons, you're doing the work, you're doing the deliberate practice, you're getting 10 times better, you're ultimately deep in that 20%. As you're doing that, you want to do it with excitement. And on a daily basis, you ultimately want to trigger that level of excitement. You don't want to get to the level of be, do, have. And what I say be, do, have is that you trigger your future self and you get into the place of being your future self with the energy, emotions, convictions, excitement of your future self. And you ultimately want to be plotting. The main thing I really want to share with you here is that you want to be conspiring to your future self. I love the idea that when you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. But when you're deep in process, you want to be conspiring. You're doing something that is just so powerful, so high level. If you think about any person who was doing really important work, they were in process and really conspiring towards changing the world. And that was just really powerful. So it's really key that 10X is exciting. It's exciting to you and it's exciting to the right people. Your 10X vision and the 10X vision you cultivate with others is going to attract the right people who want to go on that 10X adventure with you. But then in order to get there, you got to have, honestly, routines and triggers in place to get you into that mindset of your future self, into that mindset, that peak state, that peak experience. By the way, peak experience, peak state, and flow state are all very similar things. You want to get to that level where you're in a deep level of excitement, conviction, purpose, meaning, so that while you're actually doing the work, learning the lessons, going through the process, ultimately becoming your future self, that you're doing it on a daily basis with that level of excitement. And so I'll just give you morning and evening routines in this case, that once you start really getting convicted and stuff like that, then your evening and morning routines, the bookends of your days, become really important. And at the end of your day, most people fail on the evening routine. Both of these things should be very simple, by the way. I would say they shouldn't have more than 2 or 3 steps. Anything that has like 15 steps is not going to be an effective or replicable process. You also don't want your routines to be tied to any environment, but portable routines that you can do in any environment and should be simple and that you can condense. Josh Waitzkin, who wrote the book, The Art of Learning, he's one of the top experts on learning and expert performance. He has what he calls pre-performance routines. I really consider an evening and a morning routine as a pre-performance routine to getting yourself into that peak state or flow state so that you can then engage in the process as your future self with the energy, conviction, and emotions, so that when you're doing your work, first off, you're in a flow state. Second off, you've got that energy and excitement and sense of purpose while you're doing it. So an evening routine should be very simple. It should just simply be reflection and commitment. You reflect on the day, reflect on the progress you made, even if the whole day went to junk. You decide to frame it as a win because it's your choice how you frame your past. It's your choice whether you say it was a good day or bad day, whether you view it as valuable or invaluable. And from my stance, you should always view the day as valuable and that you gained value, even if through failures or through losses or through pain. You now know things your past self didn't know, therefore it was valuable. So just at the end of the day, I think a 3 to 5 minute journaling process where you journal about how are you different, what did you learn, how are you now further along than you were at the beginning of the day, what were some tangible wins or blessings or gifts, however you want to say it, and then ultimately visualizing and thinking about who you want to become the next day and getting excited. The quality of your performance the next day is less on the amount of sleep you got and more on the expectations you had when you went to sleep, that the next day would be great. And so you want to go to bed committed and excited that tomorrow is going to be phenomenal and that you're going to go and create that future self. Part of going to bed, part of your evening routine, and I think that really should only be 5 to 10 minutes. Reflection, journal, and then ultimately getting to a place of commitment and excitement and purpose for the next day. You want to have a definiteness of purpose the next day, and you want to wake up with that purpose and then ultimately start getting small wins. But there's also a great quote from Thomas Edison: never go to bed without a request to your subconscious. And so what I see that as is, first off, you frame the past in a positive way because your view of the past largely is going to shape your expectations for the future. So why would you want to view your past, either just that day or your big past, as it was trash, or that it was painful, or that it happened to you? Everything happened for you and it all brought you to this point and you're grateful for it. That's going to lend to a lot higher expectations and success for the future. And then ultimately visualizing and thinking about your future self and deciding what you will commit to being and doing and having the next day. And then visualizing it, request to your subconscious, and then go to bed and wake up. And then you have a routine in place. And that routine changes all the time, but it's based on what you want to accomplish the next day and where you're at in life, that chapter of life. For 3 years, my morning routine would be wake up, take some like vitamins and stuff like that, go to the gym, and ultimately write blog posts. And I wrote blog posts. My morning routine is very different now. I'm also doing a lot deeper work. And so it's more meditative now than it was. And it's more about getting deeper and deeper into a higher level flow state rather than just a quick dose flow state. The purpose of that morning routine is to get yourself into that peak state or into that flow state, that level of excitement. And how I would look at it is clicking yourself into the identity of your future self, so that you're being, doing, and having from your future. You go from thinking to feeling to knowing. That's how I see the morning routine is you've visualized and thought about what you want to do. You want to get to a place of feeling it, getting to a place of excitement, commitment, conviction, and courage. Whenever I write, as an example, I always want to get myself to a place of excitement, conviction, so that energy, those emotions are what are ultimately fueling the work I do and funneling through it. You don't want to be in a sketchy state while you're doing work. You want to get into a excited state, a confident state. And so that's really what it's about. It's just doing a few things that trigger that level of performance, that level of identity, that level of mindset, so that you're being from your future. Some of the best ones I would say are prayer, meditation, journaling, and fitness. There's a lot of research that shows that some forms of fitness really release a lot of endorphins. They get your brain activated and going. Obviously, meditation is really powerful. Journaling is powerful. Prayer is powerful. Gratitude. All of those things get you into the right frame of mind. And ultimately, you want to click to that place of going from thinking to feeling to knowing. And excitement about what you're doing, conviction about what you're doing. And then when you're in the process, the work you're doing is powerful. So I just want you to think, is this vision exciting? Is this what you most want? And is this intrinsically motivating? And then on a daily basis, are you priming that excitement and operating from that excitement? That is how you go 10x quickly. Talk to you soon.